hurt near an apartment building, and we just learned that the suspected shooter and 2 other victims are dead. All of this violence happened around 5:30 along Blaisdell Avenue in the Whittier neighborhood.
We do know that the police and mayor are planning a press conference for around 10 o'clock this evening. These are pictures from the scene of what happened earlier. Again, this all happened about 5:30, and this is a scene outside of Hennepin Healthcare. We understand a procession is about to get underway as they take the slain officer's body from Hennepin Healthcare, Hennepin County Medical Center, to the medical examiner's office in Minnetonka. Sad scene that we have seen several times already this year.
Yeah, and they're at Hennepin Healthcare, obviously, because that one officer who was shot and was in critical condition at the time was taken here. And when word came out that he had passed away, these police officers and really law enforcement, I think all around, came here to join, because earlier we saw members of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department there too. We should tell you a little bit about maybe what happened earlier. This happened, as we said, about 5:30 in the Whittier neighborhood, and apparently there had been some gunshots that were heard. There was a 911 call that was made, and police officers turned up there, and that's kind of all we know at this point. What the phone call was about, what the situation was. But we do know that shots were fired, and really they cracked down there. They had it, that area there is cordoned off. Police are telling the public that you are not in danger, but please avoid that area. And that, right, again, is Blaisdell Avenue and 22nd Street there in the Whittier neighborhood.
Yeah, that's all in South Minneapolis, and 2 people we know are dead. We know 1 police officer is dead. We know another one is critically injured here at this hospital that you're seeing live on your screen. And we know that the suspect is dead as well. A lot of people are responding on social media, including Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. He said he's praying for all of the first responders on the ground and working to keep the community safe. He also said the state's standing by, ready to provide the city with any needed resources that they may need. We heard that the police chief, Brian O'Hara, was out of town at a conference, but he is aware of the situation. We understand that he is on his way back. And Amelia, you had mentioned we've seen Sheriff DeWitt. I think we saw a couple of deputy chiefs from Minneapolis as well. And we saw in this kind of portal area near the emergency room where they load ambulances in, some officers that appeared to be in tears. We saw a number of officers comforting one another. That was before we confirmed that the officer, Minneapolis police officer, was shot and killed. But we knew something, certainly grave was happening, and now we know that that officer paid the ultimate price.
I feel like this is a situation that we have seen all too often, in the last several years, and especially this past year, the situation out in Burnsville, where first responders there were killed in a shooting.
Yeah, and 2 Burnsville police officers died there. Firefighter paramedic Adam Finseth died as well. And then you see these long processions of a lot of law enforcement honoring their own.
And showing their support.
Yeah, unfortunately this process means that if this officer is there, that his body needs to be transported to the medical examiner's office. That's in Minnetonka on County Road 62. So we tell you this for 2 reasons. One, they usually go down 35 south and then they head west on Highway 62, and then there's almost a straight shot. It's about 15 miles, maybe 20 minutes. We tell you that because perhaps you want to avoid the area, or perhaps you want to do the exact opposite, as we've seen a number of people sometimes like to go to see the procession, to pay their respects, to hold a flag perhaps over either Highway 62 or Interstate 35 in honor of the fallen officer. But Amelia, that makes 4 first responders since February now, and we're not even in June, that have been killed in the line of duty here, which is really,
it's a
really
tragic situation.
It sure is. And several others were hurt, and I just think about 2 weeks ago when we did the news story of the 24-hour vigil in St. Paul for Peace Officer Memorial Week, where they honor fallen officers, and the last 3 they honored were Paul Elmstrand and Matthew Ruge and Adam Finseth in Burnsville, and now sadly we'll add another young Minneapolis police officer to that list.
We talked a little bit about, you said the Sheriff's Association, the Sheriff DeWitt was there. The association said had a release and said that Obviously, it's thoughts and condolences with the officer's family, friends, and colleagues.
Yeah, we'll be here in a lot of this. And it was such a strange evening with the juxtaposition of people streaming into downtown for the Wolves game and a big block
I thought
party.
the same thing too.
And jubilant folks and people really excited, and people are kind of all in community rallying behind one thing.
And just down the street here at Hennepin Healthcare, we have officers gathered to carry one of their own.
That's
out.
right at 7th and Park, and that's not terribly far away on one side of downtown to the other, from Target Center over to Hennepin Healthcare at 7th and Park.
This here is the scene once again in the Whittier neighborhood at Blaisdell and 22nd Street. And as we told you earlier, some witnesses told us that they heard gunshots, and here's what one of them had to say.
I saw when I was when I was standing outside the front on Blaisdell, a lot of police activity just north of me on 22nd and Blaisdell, and just gunfire. There was active shooting going on as I standing there trying to get somebody to go into our apartment building to go check on the people that had been shot.